Yes, my dear friend, welcome back to the channel. This is Salon's Blog. You are highly welcome once again. It is a very beautiful Monday evening here in Southeast Asia. I beg your pardon. The day that many people don't want to come. Many are not happy whenever it's Monday because it's the first working day of the week. But look, you have no choice than to be up and doing. You have no choice than to be up and go to your workplace. Yes, you have to work in order to live. So therefore, you don't have to be angry whenever it's Monday. It is a beautiful day here. It was a beautiful day, and we are now in a beautiful evening here in Southeast Asia. Malaysia, to be precise. I am glad to come your way again. This week, preparation towards our Cup match against Liverpool. The EFL Cup final on Sunday against Liverpool. Yes, a lot will be taking place this week. Remember, we were supposed to play a game against Tottenham this midweek, but that game has been postponed to next week. But Liverpool will still have a game to play. Their game is not postponed, so they will still have a midweek game to play before playing Chelsea on Sunday. Yes, it's to our advantage. I'm not too sure why our game was postponed and Liverpool's game is not postponed, but it is to our advantage. Meanwhile, Liverpool has a lot of injury crisis right now, which I'll be going into briefly. They have a lot of injury crisis, and the truth is, Chelsea had its own share of injuries in the early part of the season until December. But right now, it looks like most of our players have recovered. We still have about 5 or 6 players that are still recovering, though. But it's not so, serious as Liverpool. As a matter of fact, key players in the Liverpool squad are now the ones that are injured. And we have most of our key players back. And most of our players are also picking up form. I'll be going into that briefly. But then, I spoke earlier on today, I spoke about Nicolas Jackson and the goal he missed. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that I am after Nicolas Jackson. He did a great job during the game against Man City. Hey, my dear friend, I understand. You said I should move on from the previous match against Man City. The reactions and the analysis, I should move on from the previous match. But it's not possible to move on without talking about our shortfalls, our mistakes, our performance, the good thing that we did, the bad ones that we did. We'll have to analyze all, then we can build on that. That is how it is. So we just cannot let go of the match we played on Saturday night. We'll have to analyze that. Going into the game of next Sunday, which is a cup final, we will have to identify our loopholes and then how to close those loopholes. And that is why each time we want to talk about the cup final coming up, we must refer back to the game against Manchester City. And not just Manchester City, I will even refer to Aston Villa game and Crystal Palace game because there were positives in those games and there were negatives as well. So forgive me if I have to refer back to those games, in my analysis. But right now, briefly, Nicolas Jackson, he played an all-round game. Nobody should get me wrong. Nicolas Jackson played an all-round game against Manchester City. It was an action. It was full of action. His movement and everything about Nicolas Jackson's game on Saturday night, it was a full pack action. In fact, he came on the link play of Nicolas Jackson. If you watch carefully, you can go back and watch the videos. His link play, 1-2s, making busting runs behind the defense of Manchester City. He tried to make some runs behind him. In doing so, he was attracting the defenders, giving space to what do you call him? Kopama and even Gallagher in that center of defense, in that center of attack, which is the number 10 role. Nicolas Jackson runs made it possible for both Raheem Sterling and Kopama to make runs on the wings because the attention of the defenders are on Nicolas Jackson. So he even got an assist. He also got an assist in so doing. Don't forget that he gave assist to Raheem Sterling. For me personally, I think his all-round game was brilliant, and he was a threat all day throughout. He was a threat all throughout the match against Manchester City. So nobody should take the credit out from Nicolas Jackson. He played his part. The only problem he had was not to be able to score that goal. Right? Okay, quickly. Now, I would like to talk one thing about Eden Hazard, who has been speaking on Obi-Wan podcast. Eden Hazard. Before I go to the injury list of Manchester Liverpool, they are plagued with so many injuries, and we need to talk about that. Going into our game against Liverpool, they are plagued with a lot of injuries. But then, Eden Hazard has been speaking about his time at Chelsea, and one thing that stood out was relationship with coaches. His relationship with coaches. And one of the major things that he said, especially regarding Jose Mourinho, he said, Jose knew I was on the pitch to win games. As simple as that. Jose knew that he, Eden Hazard, was on the pitch to win games. As simple as that. He asked me to do my job. And you know, with Jose, if you don't do your job, he can tell you in front of everyone. He gave me freedom, but not like crazy. I remember him sometimes saying on the pitch in training, "Don't kick Eden, don't kick Eden." And I was like, what? Why? But for me, it's nice. Such was the relationship between Eden Hazard and Jose Mourinho. They had a very good relationship until the later part of Jose Mourinho in his second spell, later part of it, when the incident between Hazard and the team doctor came up. Even that, Hazard did not have it as an issue against Jose. Jose was only fighting for the team because at that time they were in a critical moment of the game. All right, quickly to Liverpool. Tonight, here or this afternoon, wherever you are, dear friend, I want to talk briefly about Liverpool because our match coming up weekend on Sunday is against Liverpool. And it is a final. Will Chelsea be able to win that final against Liverpool? With our current performances, are we up to the game? Is Poch ready to correct certain mistakes, especially in the second half of our games? It looks as if Chelsea, we are a master of first half games. Yes, it looks as if we are a master of first half games. When it comes to second half, we don't have the mojo to finish up games. The strength, the mental capability to finish up games, we don't have it. But then going into the match against Liverpool, do we have the ability, even when we are down, to fight back and win? Well, as the gods may have it, Liverpool, they are having their own challenges. And quickly, it has been a frustrating few months for Jurgen Klopp on that front. The Liverpool boss hasn't had a fully fit squad to pick from for some time now, with the situation proving especially tricky during the next season. Or during the next games, let me put it that way. The Reds have coped well with the persistent issues, though. They remain top of the Premier League and were given a little more breathing space on Saturday when Manchester City dropped points against Chelsea in the title race. Manchester City drawing points against Chelsea, for them it's a good news. It is a good news. Assuming Manchester City won that game, the gap would have been closer to them. But we being able to hold them to a 1-1 draw, it's to advantage of Liverpool. With Luton visiting Anfield on Wednesday before the weekend Carabao Cup final, Klopp could face a difficult balancing act in trying to keep some of his most important players fit to face Chelsea at Wembley. With 3 more issues arriving at Brentford in their last game, even though they won the game convincingly, 3 more problems, 3 more injuries. The injury situation could be as bad as it has been throughout the season, with as many as 10 players now potentially out. Here are the latest on the injury front when it comes to Liverpool. Curtis Jones and Diogo Jota. Jones and Jota are the latest casualties to be added to Liverpool's list. The pair were both forced off before halftime during Saturday's win. Jota would appear to be a bigger concern for the two, having been stretched off with what appeared to be a knee injury. Klopp, meanwhile, has confirmed Jones suffered a knock just above the ankle. Both players will have to undergo further assessment in order to find out the full extent of the injuries. Don't expect to see either against Luton on Wednesday, though. On Wednesday, don't expect to see either of them. And there will likely be serious doubt for the Carabao Cup final. Possibly return date is unknown as of now for the two. Now, the next week is Darwin Núñez. Yes, Darwin Núñez. Núñez was brought off earlier at Brentford, having scored the opening goal during the first half, with Klopp revealing the change was made as a precaution. Darwin took off because he said he feels something a little, Klopp explained. Today that was enough to immediately push the brake, and that's what we did. According to Jurgen Klopp, the player complained about pain, and that is why they took him after scoring the first goal as a precaution. Hopefully, that means the striker will avoid joining some of his teammates on the sidelines. Well, I am hoping that he will not be able to come because Núñez, Mohamed Salah. I'm hoping that Núñez will not be fit for that match. Or even when he come in, he will come in limping. My dear friend, this is Chelsea game, and I'm all for it. Whoever that will get injury will not be able to partake. From Liverpool side, I'll be glad. More than glad. So hopefully that means the striker will avoid joining some of his teammates on the sideline, according to Klopp. Whether Klopp decides to risk him against Luton remains to be seen. Possible return date, Luton on Wednesday. I want to hope that he will come in and aggravate the injury again. The next on my list here is Alisson Becker. News of Alisson's absence came as a major blow just hours before kickoff on Saturday. The goalkeeper didn't travel with the rest of the squad to London after picking up a hamstring injury during training on Friday. That's their first choice keeper. The Brazilian had only returned to training earlier in the week after missing the win over Burnley through illness. There will now be a major concern over how long Alisson may be out for, having missed games earlier in the season with a similar problem. Although Coleman Kelleher has already been confirmed to be starting at Wembley next weekend. So that is it. The second choice now has been confirmed to be the one to mount the goalpost next weekend at Wembley. Possible return date is unknown as we speak. Trent Alexander-Arnold and Dominic Szoboszlai. Yes. Arnold also missed the trip to Brentford, having suffered a recurrence of knee injury during the win over Burnley. The Liverpool vice-captain is now expected to be out for at least another week. Another week. And has already been ruled out of the Carabao Cup final. So with the final, he will not be part of the final at Wembley. Szoboszlai, meanwhile, could be back in time to face Chelsea at Wembley. Well, could. The underlying word is could be back. Yeah. Although there will be significant doubt over his involvement, the midfielder has missed the last 3 games after suffering a recurrence of his hamstring injury. Possible return date next weekend, Szoboszlai, and a couple of weeks after Alexander-Arnold. All right. Thiago Alcantara and Stefan Bajček. Yes. Just when it seems as though Thiago's injury woes might be over, the midfielder finds himself back in the treatment room. Having only made his first appearance in nearly a year against Arsenal, the Spaniard picked up a hamstring injury against Arsenal. The Spaniard picked up a hamstring injury after coming off the bench in North London. Klopp hopes Thiago will be able to return before the end of the season, but with his contract expiring in the summer, we may even have seen his last appearance for Liverpool. Hopefully, that isn't the case though. Well, meanwhile, Bajček has endured an equally frustrating season so far, having missed nearly all of it, bar 2 appearances earlier on in the campaign. The midfielder was spotted in a video at a training center last week, raising hopes he could be on the road to recovery, although no time frame has been given for a potential return. Possible return date for him is unknown. All right. Joel Matip and Ben Doak. All right. We have likely already seen Matip's final appearance for Liverpool. The defender is expected to miss the remainder of the season after rupturing his anterior cruciate ligament against Fulham in September. Matip subsequently underwent surgery and will continue his rehabilitation at the AXA Training Center. With his contract expiring at the end of the season, though, it looks unlikely we'll see him in a Liverpool shirt again. Duak, meanwhile, has undergone surgery on a knee injury. No timeline has been put on a potential return for the 18-year-old, but it will be a surprise to see him playing for the first team again this season. Possible return date for both near to the end of the season. Matip unknown. Ben Duak, but not likely to be seen soon. All right. Okay. Dear friend, that is the injury situation with Liverpool. That is the injury situation with Liverpool. And now that we are focusing on that match, there is hope personally. And I want you as a Chelsea fan to keep your hope alive. There is nothing that this current squad cannot achieve. Believe in the squad and let's see what happens in the cup final. After the cup final, our next game is against Tottenham, which we are supposed to play this weekend, but has been postponed. Well, let me leave you here. I shall be back with more exclusives in the next one. More news coming out from Santiago Bernabeu and Chelsea. Yes, more news coming up. I will definitely come your way with exclusives on that. See you when you see me, dear friend. Shalom and peace.